What's up, guys? It's Charles here with Collection DX to do a review. This is sort of like a version 2 review. The reason it's a version 2 is because Bandai has seen fit to replace this figure here, which is the R number 44 Ryujin Maru with Wataru here. They've gone ahead and made a version 2 of it. This is number 161. So it's pretty much an updated version. There's a couple of things they've left out, but then there's also a few things they've added. So we're going to take a look at those differences and then take a look at the actual figure. So let's go ahead and open this up. Now here are both figures. We got the new version here on the left, and we have the older version on the right, along with Wataru figures, which are little PVC figures that are very nicely detailed. This one does have a built-in stand to allow him to stand, and this one actually doesn't even require a stand, even though the feet are really tiny. The PVC molding is done really good. The difference is that his sword is right back here. Just pop that in like that. This one's already fixed in his hand. One of the things that don't come with the new one are the standard panels. You'll see he's got the dragon emblazoned shoulders here. Before Wataru gets in, he gets summoned from the sky after Wataru calls for him, and he shows up and he has this regular red panel along with the standard. I'll probably just go ahead and show you guys what I'm talking about. I do suggest checking out the review on this, so it's a little more detailed, but basically this is his form, or at least half of it on this side, before Wataru gets in. Once Wataru does go in, he goes into this little piece right here, the little clear red in the show, and he goes into this weird crazy thing. You're gonna have to watch it. It's in the review for this. Then it gets up in like an upgraded armor that has these claws here, alright, which is how this one comes from the package. And unfortunately, this doesn't come with the regular panels. It already comes in the upgraded form. Now you see the new version is a lot bulkier. It's not that much bigger, but it is considerable enough to be seen as a bigger figure, and mass-wise too. If you look at it from the side, that's the most difference there. If we turn him around, you'll see he's got the sword clip here. One of the complaints I had about this one was the clip that goes in here would constantly fall off. It just pegs in. This one, I haven't had any issues with the sword falling out, and speaking of which, we're going to pop that right in here so you can see what that looks like. Right. One of the other differences is the size of the swords. So we got the new version here and then the older version. They're pretty much done the same color-wise, same paint, same handles, really, just a little bit bigger here on the older one, which is the longer one. So even though the figure was smaller, he did get the longer sword. So I don't know if that was just trying to match up the anime or whatever, or it's just, you know, their way of doing it. But so those are the biggest differences, and they both have alternate hands, you know, the open hands, because it actually claws. There's 2 fingers and 1 thumb, so you get a couple of different ones for holding swords, and then one for holding weapons or just making that creepy kind of claw looking gesture there. But the difference with those is that on the newer one, they are painted, and they look like they have a pearlescent white paint done up. And speaking of which, the whole figure has a pearlescent look to it, which is not going to really pick up on camera here. It does really have to be seen in person to be appreciated. This one's just molded in plain white. As far as articulation, if you saw in the review of this, the shoulders do come out this way, which allows you to be able to hold the sword with 2 hands. On the old one, and you can also do it on the new one, since it pretty much has the same type of articulation here. Alright, the joint design is a little bit different, but it does also allow you to bring the arms up and hold the sword, just like this. Alright, so we're just going to really concentrate on the figure here, the new one, for the rest of the review, since most of those differences I've already shown you between them. But we're going to go ahead and check out the articulation. So you got the head here. It does fold up this way a good amount to give you a lot of articulation to be able to have him look around, because if you leave it like this, not much movement. So it's really good that they worked all those joints into the neck to allow a range of movement. And you get the arms here which spin around. You also get this movement of the shoulder piece, and the actual claw moves on this. Alright, you also get the inner arm, which is on a ball joint, you can see there, with a swivel. Right, and then you get the bicep swivel there. You also get the elbow, which is it's not really it is a two or a double joint here, but it's not really for a lot of range of movement. It just gives a little extra. You'll see right there on the bicep that moves like that, and then the actual elbow. But due to the forearm design here, it's not going to fold up against himself. You also get the waist here, which does lift up, give a better range of movement than you would expect. Usually figures with these proportions have bad articulation or decent articulation, but this one goes a step beyond what I'm normally used to for stylized figures. And even though it's like an SD looking figure, this is what he looks like in the show. Okay, and then you get the legs here, also a good range of movement. If you check that out, you also get this type of movement. You get the knees, all right, which for having short legs, the knee movement is decent. Then you also get the heel, the toes, and the actual ankle. I'm going to show you the alternate hands now, so we can go ahead and pop the standard ones off. They'll have little teeny ball joints, as you can see there. We'll just pop in the open hand it comes with. So you can see it's just a 3-finger design. And then the one for the sword. I usually like to put the sword in here before putting it on the actual figure. Do want to flex the fingers out a little bit. Best way to do it is just really insert the thin part of the handle this way and just work it in there, twist around like that. There is a warning in the instructions. I can't read Japanese, but it looks like there's a warning in the instructions for putting the sword in. I think they're just trying to tell you to be careful with that. But it is PVC. I don't see any seam lines where it would crack, but you just be careful. And pop that on. So that's what it looks like with the sword. And that's pretty much the extent of the weapons that you would get with the regular version. However, they've also included these chain type spikes right here. There's 4 of these, so I'm going to go ahead and install these to show you what it looks like with that. Now, to get these on there, what you want to do is pop these little vent looking things out. Just stick your nail behind them. They pop right out. They're just friction fit in there, like so, and it leaves these holes. So you want to grab all 4 pieces and you just attach them to the shoulder things, or the chest sides, or whatever you want to call that section there. Do be careful, since these little blue pieces, which are meant to be the bases of these things, they are separate from the actual effects piece. So you want to make sure not to lose those, otherwise it's just going to look weird. And the pegs are angled. Alright, so you want to peg these in correctly. Well, technically there's no correct way of doing it. It just depends what angle you want to put them at. I'm going to put it down sort of facing, well, actually facing up. I prefer them facing up this way. So we got one facing up. Want to do the same with the other one. And again, you can pretty much just put them any angle you want. Just depends how you put the peg in there. So let's go ahead and do that one. And actually that's a little too high. Let's spin them around this way. Just like that. And go ahead and put these in here like that. Alright, so you get that effect of these chain pieces going out. I really do like the way it looks. It's a nice clear plastic. It looks like they spray a little bit of pearl on it just to give it an extra effect there. But beautiful, beautiful the way that looks. Now there's a couple of other effects pieces I do want to show you. I can't show you the way that Bandai has designed them to be shown. You'll see this one here. You're going to see there's claws here which do resemble the claws on his shoulder, because that's exactly what they are. So he removes the claw here, alright, and he actually throws it. So to get the right look, you want to remove this piece, and then you would attach a Tamashii stand or something of that sort to hold this in the air when he's throwing it, because he doesn't technically have any way to hold it in his hand. Alright, but it's a nice effect. It's got a nice goldish look while retaining some of the clear yellow plastic here. So yeah, so we got that. And then we also got this little fireball. Same thing. Requires the use of a stand, believe it or not. Unless you want to just hold it in his hand this way, but it's not really meant to be that way. It's just really meant to be thrown. Again, really cool PVC, the clear PVC here, and it looks like they've airbrushed the edges orange. So they're not just molded in color; they actually have, you know, different looks to it, different paints on there to give it, you know, more of a texture. And I think if you were looking to buy one of these two, I would probably go for this one, since, you know, unless you're such a die-hard fan that you need to have a version with 2 red panels. But really, if you're just looking for a nice Ryujin Maru, this is the one to get. It's bigger, it's nicer, it's got some cool effects. The paint is just as beautiful as the other one, and then some, because you got the pearl on the white here, which the other one does not have. If you want to see more pictures of this guy, please check out collectiondx.com. We got a bunch of cool stuff over there, guys. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Until next time, bye-bye.